Good morning, good morning, good morning, GM. I see a few of those in the comments already. Good morning, guys. Welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by Because Bitcoin. A reminder that there is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about these markets. Happy Tuesday, guys. It is the second day of our week. Like I said yesterday, I hope everybody had a phenomenal holiday and spent maybe a little bit of time away from the markets and screens. Maybe not, right? I'm Snorlax. Sorry, my cat's playing with my Christmas tree. I'm trying to get him to stop, but maybe he makes an appearance on stream today since he's so lively. But I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Tucker as well as Jackus today. Maybe getting the doctor on later. We'll see. But yeah, no. Real quickly before we get started, cooking and sharing all this big juicy alpha. We always appreciate when you guys smash that like button before we get started. You know, I'm sure we'll bug you again, but as we always say, it means a lot to us when you engage with our content. Butters, stop. Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, I mean, I would say the biggest thing I've kind of noticed this morning is some mean reversion up in crypto. As we've discussed on this show yesterday, it is Tuesday. Famously coined recently as Tuesday, right? Which is the mean reversion day as far as options go. You often see Monday moves mean revert. You know, sometimes we see trend continuation from that mean reversion throughout the course of the week. Sometimes it's literally just a day for us to punish everybody who positioned on the first day of the week, which seems like we had that happen, right? I mean, altcoins yesterday were down a few percent, some even down 4 or 5%. A lot of them green by the same amount already today. So many of them have eaten up that dip, eaten up those shorts. We'll see if it results, like I said, in trend continuation to the upside, if we can do a little bit more squeezing, or if that was that, right? I mean, I think, you know, we talked about yesterday how Bitcoin was at a very big level. And I believe at the time it was right at 36.6, 36.8. We said we didn't really want it to go deeper than that. Otherwise, we could be looking at a deeper pullback scenario. And it did exactly what it needed to do. It held that level. And now I think 37.5, 38K is equally important on the inverse, right? This level should probably hold as resistance if you're bearish, or if you are bullish, we should be breaking above 37.5 and holding above it with gusto, right? Given that this is a level where we had a lot of long interest come in over the weekend, and flipping, you know, this level of supply would be pretty big for price. Butters, stop it. I really hope you guys get to meet my cat on stream today. He is very full of energy, of course, while I'm doing my introduction. But
will he show us, Tommy? Will he show us?
Yeah, if he will cooperate. I think right now, if I tried to grab him, we would claw my face off because he's super frisky. But I'll give him a few minutes. There's really not too much to note with equities opening, you know, mostly flat. I guess we are up. We're up like a 0.1% on the S&P, which isn't too much. But I think the overall theme of equities is that, you know, it's chopping maybe after like a 600 or 700 point rally upwards, but it's ultimately chopping up. It's chopping higher. And I think that'll be the case as long as you continue to hold 4,500. I mean, this is the period, though, however, for you see a little bit of weakness in equities as far as flows go. You see less supportive flows at the end of the month, the first week of the new month. So if bears are going to send it down, it's going to be within this time period. But to be quite honest, after the momentum that we've seen so far in equities, I'm not really that optimistic in bears' chances at this juncture, right? I mean, I'm probably in the camp that we're going to continue. He's got an ornament all the way across the apartment now, but I think I'm more in the camp that at this point we will probably hold above 3,500, above 4,500, and continue our ascent higher here over the next few weeks. But it could be choppy here in the meantime, right? Either way, guys, I'm excited to talk markets with you guys as always. Hope you're having a phenomenal start to your Tuesday. Tucker, I know it's the morning for you. Jack, it's the afternoon for you. So I hope you've already had a pretty fulfilling day. Oh, wow. I mean, I guess we can go ahead and start with each since we do have a super chat from Maxwell. I wonder who that could be. Who could have foreseen .eth? Let's start talking about some markets, guys. Let's start talking about some altcoins, some ETH. Crypto is where the volatility is at this morning.
Max, I was hoping that donation would be 36.00 with that comment on ETH.
Why is that, Jackus?
I would laugh if there was that secret message of the donation of $36.00 directing it to the who could have foreseen ETH. Right, Todd gets it. Todd gets it.
Yeah,
But
that's it.
yeah,
We
yeah.
should dominate our
where do,
super chats in Bitcoin and ETH.
We should. I'll take him in soul, man. I'll take him in soul.
Where do we start, guys? I mean, Bitcoin is bouncing. We were discussing right on YouTube stream yesterday, just yesterday, right at the lows. We were discussing this, not to panic, this is still within the range, and they are just trying to shake out the leveraged longs and shorts on both sides, with each of these sweeps. Then they induce new ones, and then they sweep them once again. And look at it. It's just playing out, So when they say when in doubt, zoom out. But I still have this theory that because we we are fucking addictors and we want to check the price every day. So most people, they will not look at the daily and H12 or above candles because there's not much happening. The candle is the same the whole day and there's no action on the time frame. So what do people do? They go on H1 and they watch the H1 candle sprint, right? Sometimes they go even lower, right? But the thing is that on these daily time frames, H1, H4, which are the most, probably they are and I think I did a poll on Twitter, and I think H4 was the most used time frame. After that, it was H1, and then I believe it was, I'm not sure if it was M15 or the daily, but definitely the H1, H4, and it does make sense because once again, people want to watch what's the price doing today? I gotta check. So what do you check? You don't check the daily, right? You check the H1 and make your decision based on that time frame most of the times. And then when you look at the chart, so often H1 looks like it's completely over, or we are so back. And then if you zoom out, you might be hitting resistance or support, right, on the dailies. And that's why I say, guys, zoom out and keep your focus on the dailies. Or if you are scalping, zoom in even more, right? Go M5, M1, M15, right? That's beneficial too. It's not my expertise, but I do see the edge there. But H1 is, in my opinion, and I'm not saying you cannot find a way, right? But in my opinion, H1 is being printed to shake you out. That's just my take.
What do you think about?
Or if you are Tucker, you can go on 1 second chart.
Oh, no, it's over, guys. It's over. Zero.
Oh, we're so back.
And I enjoy the gambler addiction.
And we all have a little bit of it if we're in this space still.
Yeah, I agree with what you were saying, Jackus.
Yeah.
That's why I get all the alpha by using the 6 hour. There's 6 4-hour closes a day, but there's only 4 6-hour closes a day. So,
wow.
nice little swing fail. Look at that. Couldn't close below the wick. Probably hit the middle of this fair value gap right there. Yeah. Looking nice. Looking for the top of the channel. I was worried that we'd reject off of here. It's been a pretty solid area of interest, but it's like we want to maybe go 38.3, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the price going up it's good. It's just more consolidation for me. I don't really see a lot of movement to the upside right at the moment. I think think it's still controlled price ranging, right? So controlled price ranging isn't always the best thing. So we'll see how it works out. It's got to break out one side or the other, ultimately. I think that um, you know, right now people should just really be patient and watch this price action kind of play out. It's going to take a little bit, I think, probably some weeks from, maybe even to the end of the year before we end up actually seeing a move from Bitcoin, whether it be to the upside or downside. I think it's just more or less also just looking for validation or invalidation. This is one of those scenarios, and I talked about this the other day. I was like, what is the difference between 36 and 33 for you at this point? If you're interested in buying things, then you buy things, where we were in the range. But if you're waiting for some kind of optimal positioning or something like that, you could be waiting longer than you think. You could also, find that pricing come into play a lot sooner than you think. Right now, you just got to kind of watch this control pricing and just, let it do its thing. And then when it figures out the directionality it wants to take, then you can position against it. And you can just wait for the validation of the breakout, the invalidation of the breakdown, or the invalidation and the breakdown, or so on and so forth. I'm still anticipating, basically this to stay controlled and to eventually roll over. I remember this very same move. If you look at Bitcoin, and it took a long time. It took a long time for it to fall over. But the move where Bitcoin came down to 30, it bounced all the way up to 48, right? And it played the range all the way up in a controlled range, and then eventually just toppled and dropped all the way down into the 20s. And I don't think that that's where we're heading for price. I
You talking
think when
about
you get that rise in controlled pricing, where it's basically a bear flag essentially, right? And you can't ignore that. You can't fade that. Even on a breakout, I would expect that thing's still going to play.
this, Will?
Yeah, but that's not really it's not really sideways. It's you got your higher lows, higher highs, but they're in a controlled channel there, right? And yeah, I'm talking about that area specifically. Yeah, it's a rising channel.
Yeah, see, I bet people were drawing this. So when you see this consolidation and building value at the lows, it's completely over.
Yeah, correct, exactly, and that's what I could see for this at some point is start to do that, and that's what you don't want to see, right? And you can see there every high exceeded the previous high, and so it kept people in the play, right? It kept them playing the higher highs, higher lows until it came back and rolled over because the price was controlled within a range, right? It was always to a certain point of the high, then it would roll over to a certain point of the low, then it would bounce up, certain point of the high, then roll over, certain point of the low, then bounce up. And then eventually you got that big run up, right? That breakout move to where it just, jumped up and massively over top the previous two highs and made the market really think that this thing was going somewhere and then pulled back below and then looked like it was consolidating the low range at a higher low again and then just rolled.
This candle is when you should have been out.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
Arguably, the
That was,
second you revisited below those highs, I would have been out.
Exactly.
Yeah, right
Like as
there.
soon as you broke these highs, you should have been out. So you should have been out at minimum 43K, right? You would have saved a lot of pain.
the
Yeah,
high
I
time
don't think
door.
Yes.
I don't think we're rolling like that, but I do think that we're gonna roll back pretty big, right?
I mean, you could just like do this move and then you could go, something like that. But the context is so different though, like this was in the this was 2 years after the halving. That was like the midst of a bear market.
No, it was, and it's a much easier mood to play, right? Because if you look at it, it's controlled. It's a major volatility range, right, between two areas. But at the same time, if you come over to where we're at, and you can go back and look at every scenario where we've built long, and you'll see breakout or breakdown. Sorry, and every scenario where we went short, you'll see breakout. And here, let me.
Saying we have to flush before.
Yeah,
I mean,
it doesn't have to be a big one. It's just yeah, exactly. See, you're seeing it right there. Every rise comes to a drop and then bounces. Yep, exactly. Those are essentially your shakeouts, right? Every rise turns into a shakeout short and then rolls back out. And I'm not even saying like we have to get 33K. We could go up very easily, and I talked about this just like we did over there, right over
Yeah,
there. Yep.
do
We're,
that.
we're and jump hard. Yep. Jump hard, maybe 42, 43K before we come back, and then only come back to 35K, right?
Yeah,
36K. So it could very well do that too. And that I'm entertaining that also. So I'm not gonna throw my cards in here and say, hey, we're going to 33K here. But I would say we could bounce up to 42 and then come back to 36, right? Or 35.
what would that be? That would be your full fill. I don't know if we'll get that, but yeah.
Yeah, it'll more than likely get scalped before it gets to the actual support. But I do think that there's a big flush coming, whether it's from higher or from here.
Yeah, I think it's probably from higher at this point.
Yeah, and that I've entertained that all year. That's what I talked about when we were talking about 22K. I was like,
Yeah.
Man,
I was
gold
like, probably,
is about to hit new all-time highs today, maybe.
Gold is?
Gold is just ripping faces.
Oh,
Who
man.
could have foreseen it?
God, ETH.
And like DXY is like, if gold's hitting a new all-time high, DXY is so overbought still. Basically,
What?
even though it's dumping crazy, but it's still too high, right? It needs to just dump to that X. It
Yeah.
needs to dump to that X, man. If gold is hitting new highs, until X is hit, DXY is too high. And
I can see gold holding there though, Jackerson's not really doing much until the end of the year, where it just kind of sits there for a minute. But I
yeah,
do think gold. I think gold does break out eventually, whether it be months from now or a month from now.
Oh, boy. Tommy.
man, you guys remember just a few weeks ago when we were, down there, people were telling me on the spaces how gold is fucking bearish structure and we're going for new lows. And man, like central bankers have been accumulating gold the highest in fucking 50 years. I mean, just our central bank in Czech, right? It said it wants to it wants to raise its holdings 5 times, man. And there's so many of these, and it's just crazy. The amount of underexposure to its commodities, I think it's one of the highest in history or ever. And I was in the camp that we probably don't do much until end of the year as well, but it just shows you how crazy this could get. And like, man, I'm so fucking bullish on Bitcoin with this, right?
I started paying attention to gold about the time that Russia started buying it, and then China started buying it, and then everybody's like, "Oh, Russia's going to go down." Blah blah blah. I'm like, did you guys not just watch Russia buy all that gold before they started this war? I'm like, they did
Yeah.
that to hedge their positions because they knew they were going to get sanctioned.
They've
Like, they're
they've
not
been
dumb.
actually buying since 2012, I believe, or something like that. Like they've been buying for a long time, but
Yeah.
now they're buying even more, I think.
They started entertaining and interacting with countries like Africa and so on and so forth to get more gold, right? And
Yeah.
that's where I was like, why are they interacting with countries they normally wouldn't have any interactions with? And then I thought about it, and I was like, especially when they were going and they were like, oh, they're not going to attack them. The U.S. was, and I was like, they're buying gold from Africa, bro. I'm like, I think they are going to attack them. And then, when you start to see that kind of stuff, you know they're preparing for something that, they're about to do something. And so once I saw that, I was like, it's over. I'm like, they're going to attack them essentially, and that's exactly what they did, right? Everybody told me, oh no, there's going to be no war. They're not going to do anything. I think even meet Kevin, right? Like that guy right there. I like him somewhat, but even he was like, that's not going to happen. They're not going to go to war. Blah blah blah. You got Kevin O'Leary. They're not going to go to war. You got all these bigger players. How about they're not going to go to war? And what did they do? They ended up, attacking them and going to war. So
Can we really trust Kevin O'Leary?
no, No.
FTX is a great place to trade. It's the only place I would trust.
I would trust
to
Sam
trade.
again to do it again, to run it back. Do you remember that when he said that?
Say that again.
He said live he would trust Sam to redo it again.
Oh
I
yeah,
bet he would. I bet he would. If I had that much
He
money
said
on the
that.
platform,
Yeah.
I'd say make it back.
Bro, these guys they have some serious issues. I will just say that, right? I would never interact with people that talk about stuff like I would trust Sam to do it. Dude's going to prison now. Well, how does that play in your words? You know,
you got to be a little mentally unsecure or insecure in some capacity to become a billionaire, man. Like,
Tommy, you know what's mentally insecure?
What
is not hitting the like button, man.
It's true.
That is really insecure.
Indeed.
Guys, this is your daily market check like show. If you enjoy the content, if you like what we're doing here, go ahead and hit that like button. Max gets way more into it than I will, but I'll just keep it simple. We need those likes. YouTube likes the likes. I wish I didn't have to ask for them, but we do. So this is your daily like show. I know you guys kind of enjoy the like show, so it is what it is. But if you like what we're doing, hit the like button, hit the sub button. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. So just wanted to throw that at you guys. I'm sure it was missing in your morning routine, so just wanted to fulfill that for you guys. But
and I'm gonna continue. If you guys enjoy what we talk about here, we share even way more alpha and way more knowledge in our Discord, right? And that's where you wanna come. And I believe there is still 3 months. Am I right on this? There's still 3 months, or is this 3 weeks now?
No, you get a free month with the code free month. I believe it's just free month. Yeah, hang on.
Yeah.
There's the free month, and then there's also a Black Friday sale of 30% off for a year. So you guys can do the math on that and figure out what you want to do. But
I mean, that's a steal. That's a steal, guys. If you knew how much alpha knowledge is being shared, that's a fucking steal. And I have no idea what the fuck are you guys doing if you're not in that Discord, right? Like, seriously, you are fucking missing out. Like, you are missing out more than you are missing out on that coin that's pumping right now, because we are discussing those coins ahead of time, right? So be sure to FOMO check the Discord. If it's for free, like, what the fuck are you waiting for, guys? I have no other way to say this.
Well, we already had people say that they made money on the free, being there on the free portion of the Discord. I mean, I think that's the value in itself right there. I think
people, like, if this membership doesn't pay for itself in like a week, then we've done something wrong, right? Like, some of our I mean, myself, but also King Wabi was giving Celestia, down in here, Tommy caught Pepe at 250K market cap. Like, the list goes on. The list goes on, guys. So just a little Discord show. I know you were missing.
It wasn't just Pepe. I'll just point that out. I mean, I'm not gonna go further than that, but it was there was a lot going on. A lot.
That was a wild meme season, man.
Yeah.
We were in the trenches on Discord grinding memes on like Deck Screener for like hours.
Yeah, man.
But the golden thing is, guys, that it's not even about like just making money, right? It's even if, and it could happen that we would all be wrong and, we would be on a bad streak. Still, the insane amount of knowledge and alpha you get there, the understanding is just worth it, even regardless of that. And even if that would not be enough, the community that's in there is just insane. There's lots of activity, lots of friendly talk, and I love it. So yeah, guys, do your work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, guys. All right. So, what are we seeing out there? We think we're gonna get the ETH pump. I've got a magnet drawn. I don't know. I don't know why we.
What is a magnet?
Is the magnet big enough?
I like the magnitude of the magnet.
Oh man, that's a good point. I don't know if the magnet's big enough. Yeah, but I don't know. We've got a little area here we need to get through.
Here's the thing for me, Tucker. Whereas most people would tell you, wait till later, buy lower, 12K is coming, yada yada yada. The only reason I bring up lower prices is just to say, hey, if you see these prices, they're a steal. It's a great value opportunity. And if you don't see these prices, I hope you were positioned. That's why I always bring up, the potential of a pullback, because a lot of people are like, where do I get in? Where do I get in? Where do I get in? Well, you can get in, where we were yesterday, which I think was a great value opportunity. And I talked about that yesterday too. And you can probably get in if we get a big retrace much later, right? It could occur here, or we could jump pretty hard before it actually occurs. And then a lot of people start jumping at the high, and then you get the big retrace to basically get you to sell your bag in to buy lower. The sell now to buy lower thesis, it's over. Like, that works in a bear market, right? It works when momentum is going down. You can sell now to buy later. But once you've already started moving in an upward momentum, sell now to buy later is not it's not a part of your thesis anymore. It's not a part of your process. Your process from there is to accumulate on dips, right? So every dip is a buying opportunity. Every dip is an opportunity to take entries. And this is not I forget his name. The guy who shows stuff and then the market goes the opposite direction. But was the guy? I forget what his name is. CNN guy, whatever. Big news guy, bald guy.
See what?
Brian?
No, not Brian.
CME.
Jim Cramer. There we go. Jim Cramer. This is not Jim Cramer telling you this is the best buying opportunity of a lifetime and I have no clue what I'm talking about. Which, of course, I do think there's a little bit of a head game when it comes to Jim Cramer, by the way. I think the dude likes to play head games with people. But yeah, this isn't BitBoy. I'm telling you to buy my bags. This is me telling you dips are for buying on great opportunity tokens, right? Not me shilling you a token. It's me telling you to watch for dips and take opportunity when you see dips.
Well, Will, I think BitBoy told us that ETH was going to 4,800 imminently earlier today, if I'm not mistaken.
I've heard that from BitBoy all year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really doesn't, like, the problem with these guys is that they just keep screaming. Like, you can hear them one day say that Bitcoin is going to 12K and the other to 100K, and then the next day back to 13K or something. And they are just engagement whores. That's what it is. They are sellouts, and they are just there to really sway. Like they are there to sway the normies, the retailers, on the wrong path. That's their only interest is to gain more influence, more recognition, and more money into their pockets. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's not to assist people. It's not to help people actually make good entries or anything. Like, and I hate saying that because like it sounds like a bash. It sounds like we're sitting there trying to bash like everybody else. It's like, no, it's not the same thing. Like our scenario is not to come here and bash people. It's just to come here and shed light on reality. This is just the reality of things in crypto. A lot of these guys are just bad actors. They don't really come in with any real, scenario trying to help people get better. They come in with entertainment factors, and entertainment factors aren't going to make you money.
Jesus, that gold is just keeps on pumping, man. Like there is an insane FOMO. People have no idea what's coming their way. And as you said, Will, you could have foreseen that war coming into play. And like what the price is telling us here is just there's going to be some major shit in the world going on in the next years.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the central bankers, they are fucking telling you they are the largest financial entities in the world. And they make plans not for the next month or the next year. They're positioning themselves for the next 5, 10, even sometimes 20 years. You know, we are talking about the next monetary system in the world, and they 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 are accumulating the most since the fucking Bretton Woods system ended, right? The most, guys. Are you fucking blind? You know, and the price is telling you. Price is telling you. So keep fading, keep calling the DXY to go to the milkshake theory, while the DXY is going to go sub $90, you know, or so. So
The funny part is, Jackets, is like so many people like they just don't understand gold, and they don't understand when banks start accumulating gold. That's so freaking bearish. It's not even
oh
funny.
yeah, yeah,
And they're not paying attention that, hey, if banks are buying gold, I should be positioned in something because my dollar value is going to get completely screwed, because
yeah,
that's just what it is. Banks are literally, they're trying to offset the downside of what they're seeing coming for the dollar, right?
yeah,
And if the dollar is going down, what does that mean for assets? It means asset prices are going up, bro. Like, it's an easy understandable scenario, right? And what does that mean for inflation? It means inflation will probably come back. It means, in addition to that, these banks are positioning, they're hedging against devalued dollar. That's the, if they weren't, they would be selling gold and buying dollar, but they're not
yeah.
doing that. They're buying gold and selling dollar. Like, people
Yeah,
don't
and
understand the difference
they are
between the two.
using their forex exchange reserves that they've been building over the past 30 years. They are using those to basically balance. Like what they do is this is how they manipulate in a way the markets, right? They just create, like, the central bank holds, they hold forex exchange, they hold treasuries, and then they hold gold. And they mix these rotations to balance markets out. And right now the rotation is going out of the forex exchange reserves, out of fiat into commodities. And they always say, I love it when, like, people are usually not consistent. They say, when it's bearish, right? They will say, follow what the central bankers are doing. But when they start buying gold, they just ignore it. It's like, it's not happening.
They put their fingers in there and go la 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 la.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're doing. I see it all the time. And bears are doing something very similar because they don't want to accept it. And I understand. Look, I understand things should have played a certain way, but should have and did are two different things, right? And you have to work with what did happen. Like, should have doesn't matter at the end of the day. What matters is what did happen. And what did happen is we got, backdoor bailouts, we'll say, right? I know some people may not like it. Some people may not like that verbiage as far as backdoor bailouts, but these banks should have 100% failed. They should have failed. Their depositors should have been screwed because they were over the deposit limits that is federally covered, and there should have been a lot of liquidity jacked out of the system. But what did they do? They bailed them all out. That's exactly what it is. It's what it is. Like, you could say it's a controlled line of liquidity that gets paid back. Blah 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 blah. It doesn't matter. The bank would have had to sell their bonds at much cheaper prices. They would have lost money on those bonds. They'd probably been screwed in multiple ways, and their depositors would have been screwed too. And that would have drawn a lot of that fractionalized fake money out of the system and rebalanced some of the fake money that exists on loans on loans on loans on loans of the same liquidity.
Guys,
And this is why people are buying gold.
Gold's
What's up?
leading by like 10 days right now by my calculations. Let's all right, we're gonna pump on December 8th hard. Mark this.
That would be cool.
It's gonna happen. I'm gonna save this, yeah.
Well, anybody fitting gold right now, look, on your third retest, and if you said it was a triple top, I might be on board. But we're now on our fourth. right?
You know what happens
gotta
on the
understand-
fourth, and you know what happens.
You got to understand when you're on your fourth, like pay attention. Pay attention.
Yeah.
This is not a fourth attempt on the 4 hour. It's a fourth attempt on multiple months.
Yeah, look at that. Jeez.
That is not a fade at all. In my opinion, that's going to break out. It can even pull back again. It doesn't matter. It'll come back again to the same resistance. If you were to flip that support, you'd be like, this support's getting tested too many times. If you were to flip that chart upside down.
Like the moment we have made a dead breaker on this last leg up, it was fucking obvious that it's going to rape
You got
those
the higher
highs.
low.
The only question was, and I was saying that the only question was when, and I myself did not expect it to start happening so early, and it just tells you how fucked up things are, that it's already happening, right? I mean, look at the silver chart. Look at the silver chart, Tucker, and you will see what's going on there as well. That
The commodities up. Oh man, go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off, Jackers. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, no problem. But like this whole price since 2020 is a giant reaccumulation. And as I've been saying, this just leads to the cascade of things where silver is essentially like it may spend some more time here. Like right now, I believe it's gonna pull higher. It's gonna go slightly higher, but more or less, it's in this big range between like $21 to $30. But this just leads to the cost. Like we are not going below this range anymore. This is a giant accumulation. This will lead to the break to $35, which will essentially lead to the if you're gonna zoom out even more, you will realize we are sitting on two equal highs. Like, yeah, and the market is shaping out. Like it's so obvious from the chart that the market is going to start uptrending. And then when we get to those highs, they are gonna get slaughtered as well. So there is lots of confluences in the charts shaping together, and you simply guys will not, and I'm telling you 100%, like this is not a question of debate. You will not have bullish silver, bullish gold, and bullish dollar index. You simply, when these commodities starts to rise, dollar index goes down. And I know that from the chart that future problems are already happening here. The charts are telling that us. And the reason probably why the dollar index is going to go so down is probably it's because it's going to get devalued a lot. Most likely, like there's going to be one of those triggers to come in, right? I cannot tell always what it's going to be ahead, but I know that these things are coming. And the charts essentially on the higher time frames speak the truth.
Indeed.
Is that me or is that Jack is cutting out?
This was probably me,
Yes.
I suppose.
No, you're good. Will, are you good?
Oh, good.
Is that on my end?
Deviation, bro.
Everybody's cool on my end. I don't know, bro.
I love this chart.
Okay, yeah. I got construction going on next door. My bad. Go ahead and keep going. My bad.
Deviation, bruv.
I love it. And that 35 is certainly the next target of this hard time frame move up.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna spend some time at 35. That's possibly when there could be a recession at that point. When we had 35, I could see that happening. And then when there is a recession, people will fly back to the dollar, but it will be very short term left, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's gonna cause the pullback in silver from like 35. I mean, that's a scenario I'm currently playing, right? Like I'm basically bullish, but I'm not saying like if we're gonna go straight up, there will be pullbacks, of course. And 35 is definitely an area for one. So whenever we get there, I know I'm gonna be ready to start be careful on Bitcoin as well, because whenever these macro assets hits their hard time frame supports or resistances, it's time to pay attention. But right now there is nothing but free air above us, basically. That's why I'm not worried that.
Well,
I, I,
one thing to play into what you're saying there, Jackus, and this is something I think people should go look at too. One thing that I've been paying attention to is businesses themselves have actually been accruing more hard assets. So if they're accruing more hard assets, what does that mean that they're doing with their dollar?
Getting rid of it.
They're getting rid of it, and
yeah,
I'm seeing it on EV companies. Like I've been watching. I watch quite a few. I watch Rivian. I watch Tesla. I watch Lucid, I've been looking at their books, and they've just been increasing and increasing and increasing hard assets more and more and more. What that's telling me is that they're buying rare metals, they're buying materials to build more cars, so on and so forth. Because why would they position that way if they think that the dollar is strong? They position that way because they think the dollar is going to get weaker, right? So that means that their buying power would go down, and so they're trying to get the materials they need ahead of time. So when their buying power goes down, they already have what they need to be able to supply the the things that they supply. And I would see this from Apple, and I'm seeing this from a lot of different companies where they are continuing to buy hard. Or we'll just say whatever their resource of choice is, and that to me makes me pretty bearish on dollar, right? It makes me
yeah,
pretty bearish on not being asset allocated, commodities, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. um I think people just need to like see the writing on the wall, understand kind of what's going on here, and be like, man, everybody's positioning out of dollar, right? So if you're positioning out of dollar, some of you are taking the gold route, some of you are taking the silver, some people are taking the rare metals, some people are taking, materials to build the things that they build, whether it be cars, phones, whatever. But when you start to see a rotation to hard assets, what you're seeing is you're seeing a lack of confidence in the currency, right? And when you start to see a lack of confidence in the currency, it then goes back to Jackson's thesis, and I'm very much a believer of this too, is that we're moving into a commodities era, right? Which is where
yeah,
commodities and hard assets have more value than the dollar that you use to spend on them.
Guys, we're pamping hard.
yeah. I mean, gold is leading right now, and DXY is going to keep relentlessly dumping. Bears will be in absolute disbelief, and gold simply has. Sorry, Bitcoin has
We
been
need to
Bitcoin.
address this, guys. We need to address this.
Wait. First, there was a great comment by Ayush that I want to address. He said, "What does the dollar devalue against? Which currency, or do you only mean against commodities?" So first of all, the dollar index is measured against other forex pairs, mainly the euro, which I think is about 55% of the overall index. So it's really, inverse euro USD chart to DXY. But the Japanese yen also matters, and British pound too. But yeah, it's going to devalue against those currencies a lot. That's why I've been saying I'm so bullish on the Euro USD. We are seeing, like, can you pull out the Euro USD chart, Tucker?
Yeah.
You know, guys, that I've been literally at the fucking bottom of this chart. I was saying this is the higher time frame range lows, and we should be pumping from here. And look at that, because it's the intermarket confluence, that's why I was so convinced of that happening. And now, obviously, the dollar is going to devalue against commodities. But when you speak of the dollar index, that's going to devalue against the other currencies. And I think the reason, as Will was saying, the market is positioning against that. And I think it's because the market is now understanding that the US will have to probably monetize their debt, right? There is lack of buyers generally. Like what the US is essentially trying to do is not really like tame inflation, in my opinion. They are trying to create demand for their bonds, because suddenly no one, like Japan, stopped buying the US government bonds, and that's a big problem when no one wants to buy our debt, like, because the US cannot finance itself anymore from the tax revenues, and that's why people have been buying the US bonds mainly, because they've been expecting that the US is just gonna keep taxing their citizens, and that's where the revenue comes from. But the problem is that right now, lots of new money to fund the old interest is coming from new debts, right? So like US is issuing new debt to finance the old debt, but it's doing it at much higher cost right now. And I think what essentially it ends up to is where US is forced to monetize their own debt and start buying with imaginary created dollars.
There you go. You hit the nail on the head. I wanted to lean into that just a little bit, if that's unless you want
Go
to
on.
finish cooking.
I
But
mean, let's cook. Let's exchange the
okay,
words.
go ahead. So I think there's a lot of people aren't understanding why yields are staying high, right? Why are these yields staying so high? Well, because the U.S. government knows it can't buy its own debt. It's screwed, right? There's not enough taxes that you can put on the people to equalize the debt that is owed, right? And so what did we do? The U.S. government got greedy. How did the U.S. government get greedy? It created bonds. What are bonds essentially? It allowed them to expand their debt to the world, not just its citizens, to the entire world, right?
Yeah.
And people are looking at this and they're like, we could buy the debt, but you can't tax your citizens enough money to pay the debt back. So where does the money come from? And I think countries are starting to think about that, and they're starting to look at this and be like, we could buy the debt, but there's nobody to pay it back.
Yeah.
And the government could say, oh, we can guarantee it, but then they're just making fake money that may be so devalued in the future that it just makes it not attractive enough, right? You need the yield to be above the attractiveness of what they think the devaluation of your currency is going to be. And I don't think that people think that 10% yield, even as insane as, or five, sorry, not 10, 5% yield is as high as it, as realistically, they think that 5% is not enough, right? They think that 5% is not enough in comparison to what the devaluation of the dollar will be in in a 5-year bond, or a 10-year bond, or a 20-year bond, or a 30-year bond. They don't think 5% is enough. And so what are they doing? Well, they're refusing to buy the debt, right? And what is that doing to yields? Well, it's forcing the US to push or allow, these yields to go higher and higher and higher until they become attractive enough. It's all about creating attractiveness. It's just like markets, right? When you have a markup phase or a markdown phase, it's essentially the market maker trying to create volatility, trying to bring in new liquidity, and trying to shake the market in a direction of where the prices are more attractive to buyers. If there's no buyers in a certain price zone, the market will start to mark down, right? But if there is buyers and the market is marking up, then the market will continue to mark up, and it will continue to mark up, and it will continue to mark up until the attractiveness is gone. And for right now, assets, the attractiveness is there. And it's there because of the lack of confidence in the government debt and in the dollar, right? The dollar goes hand in hand with government debt. And a lot of people are just not understanding these two as entities in this whole spiel. And people they don't want to buy the debt. They don't want the debt. The 5% is not enough to take on the debt of the US government for most countries, even, right? Bigger institutions. So and how do you know this? Because you got companies and institutions positioning in hard assets, not dollar, not debt. They're positioning in hard assets. You got companies continuing to buy assets that they need to create the next cars they need for the next 10 years. You got institutions buying gold and buying hard assets. They're not buying US debt because they don't think it's attractive enough to make them, really want to sit on some devaluation for the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years. And it also comes down to our generation too. We're not stupid. We're not buying that debt. Ain't no way. Like people like at least our generation as a whole are looking for value. They're looking for growth, right? Growth, not Warren Buffett sitting Apple for the next 10 years and get like $200 for 10 years worth of revenue. We're looking to grow our portfolios and grow our money. And this is why, when people sit there and say, oh, why would you buy a shitcoin? Why would you buy that penny stock? Why would you buy this? Why would you buy that? Because we're growing our portfolio. We're not necessarily sitting here, trying to stay in preservation mode, like these people that try and play around and act like preservation mode is the only way. But yeah, I just wanted to add that in there, man. It's so insane to me that people can't put two and two together. They listen to these Wall Street gurus that are literally in preservation mode and have no clue what it is to grow anymore. They don't even know what it means. They got billions of dollars. They don't know what it means to grow. They're just like, oh, it's too unsafe. And then same thing with government debt. They're like, well, yields are too high. Well, the money's not attractive enough because the dollar is going to be devalued immensely in the next 5-10 years. The money injection that we took in 2021, that 5% yield isn't going to touch what we basically did to our currency. We wrecked our currency, but with the money printing we did. And so we need more devaluation. That's just what it is. That means, guess what? Higher yields.
Yeah, great points, Phil. I think like the most sane way for US would be really to, as absurd as it sounds, and I know it's not happening, but to cut the deficits, right? To cut the government spending
Cut
and
the fat. Cut the fat.
yeah, lower taxes, not increase them to help out the economy to build. And actually, yeah, lower the deficits, cut the spending, which means also uh, releasing some government employees too, and that would help. But especially with the spending too, right? Because if you are spending less, that means you will be able to. And by the way, when you lower taxes, you usually earn more because the higher you raise the taxes, the more there are people looking to get around them. There is a psychological number of 15% on the taxes, and that 15% is psychological for one very reason. Lots of people will think that 15% is not too little, but it's not too high. And I will rather pay those 15% than to be in problems. But when when the tax raises to like 30, 40%, people will be like, fuck that. I'm looking, I'm not paying. I'm looking my ways around. And it's been proven not just on taxes, it's been proven on parking lots and so on. Whenever you make the price of these things too high, people will just stop using the service and they will look for ways around. They will start parking cars around that park drive or so. And when you lower those fees, people will actually pay for it because it's not that big of a deal. So that would be the realistic way for the US to do this, right? Lower the deficits, lower the taxes, help out the economy with lower taxes. The economical activity would start to boom, and then you would make even more on those tax revenues. But instead, what's gonna happen is that they are going to tax the population by inflation, right? They're gonna because the public is blind to this, not the financial people, right? They understand this, but the general public is blind to this, and they'll continue to devalue their currency to pay for all of this. And the market is seeing that. The market is seeing that that's basically an inevitable path that the US has forced itself into it. So until there's a political power to change that, I believe the dollar index must be going down, and the charts are clearly telling us that. By the way, we are breaking out the BTC, man.
We are. Well,
let's discuss why all that works, Jack. Is because I think a lot of people would like to know why, and they probably just don't understand. But what happens when you decrease taxes and you allow people to have more money? What does that do to your economy?
Yeah, you wanna answer that and start cooking?
Yeah. So like if you start reducing taxes, and you allow people to have more money and stop making them poor, right? You essentially stimulate spending, and
Yeah.
spending gets the economy rolling. When you increase taxes, you destimulate spending. Not only do you, so you're basically slowing the economy. Not only do you destimulate spending, you also cause people to leave the country, right?
Oh yeah.
Eventually, people get fed up and they're just like, you know what? This country is BS. They're just trying to tax us to death. I'll just go to another country where taxes are cheaper. And they'll leave and they'll take their liquidity with them, which means whatever money that they've made here is going to leave with them. It's going to be spent somewhere else. And that dollar is going to be given back to the US at no value. That's essentially what's going to happen. And it's bad. It's bad. It's bad because it decreases our workforce by allowing these people to leave. It decreases our spending because now you've got another person who left who would spend, right? And it decreases our attractiveness as a country for people who may be looking to relocate to new countries. And so all these things, like whenever your government starts talking, we're going to raise taxes like it currently is, and like they keep on trying to play like they're not doing that, but they are, especially right now. They're essentially just trying to rob you, right? They're coming in, they're trying to raise taxes, and they're trying to screw your economy. They're trying to, draw as much liquidity. When you talk about predatory and you talk about market makers are predatory, no, governments are predatory.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what they are. Governments are by far more predatory than any market maker out there, and they're straight up taking advantage of the people, especially right now. That 2021 stimulus, that was a way to devalue your value of money. They gave you that money to literally screw the value of your own dollar in your bank account. That's essentially it. Like people thought it was free money. No, they screwed your dollar value in your bank account the second that money hit your bank account.
There really will be, like, in 10, 20 years, people will talk about pre-COVID and after COVID world, right? Oh Jesus, I love that pump.
Temporary relief is not relief.
Is
Period.
ETH catching up finally?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, let's see. Is it though? Is it
Need
though?
my alts to catch a bit.
No, it's not. Not. Not really. Maybe a little.
Not yet, but it's get there. That upside for BTC is kept too on this leg, right? It still needs to do its market moves. So when and I've been saying this for a long time now. The moment ETH/USD starts breaking these highs, and it's positioning for it, it can still take a few days though, but it's positioning for those highs, and the moment it rips them, ETH BTC will follow. But yeah, the problem is that whenever these events happen, whether it's in markets or government, nobody comes and say, "Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, I apologize." Right? Capital doesn't come, no, and say, "Hey, I was wrong" or something. He's just like, "No, this is giant deviation by the cartel, and we're going to 12K." And nobody came after COVID and apologized for all the fuckery. No, everyone just rolls over, just like nothing has happened, and keep spreading their bullshit, right? So yeah, but that's why we are here and trying to give you the alpha ahead, guys, because that's what we enjoy to do.
It is indeed.
It's a job you're doing.
Yes. Don't love this. What's happening right here?
Attacking those range highs once again.
Not
BTC.
loving the sweep, man. Not loving the sweep. Let's say sweep. Boom.
Bitcoin is trading into some asks here at 38K, but I think it's going to probably see 39K here over the next few days. That makes sense to me. I don't know if we're going to just go on a ripper to like 41, 42, but I do think 39 can get tagged in the very short term.
I'm telling you, Tommy, look at April, man. Look at April this year, man. It did the same move.
Can we show Tucker the fractal of the current price with the 2020 fractal when BTC raped and kept going higher. You can go on like H12 on BTC here, and
This.
then yeah, like slightly below it, slightly below it. Split the screen,
Oh yeah.
right, and compare these two because they are just like it's insane how same they are, and I think it could actually play out here. There really is not much resistance above. Like as Tommy saying, BTC is running into asks, and that makes sense as we are approaching the range highs once again, right? But what time frame are these asks on, right? That's the thing, and they are fighting the higher time frame pressure, and you simply cannot fight the once again you cannot fight that gold strength and the XY bearishness. So they can fight for a little longer, but essentially will be forced to give up. Yeah, I meant exactly that. The one on the left, if you, yeah, exactly that one. And you would have to scroll down probably on like, I don't know, H4, H8 or something like that. Maybe 6 hour, your favorite time frame.
My favorite. Oh, let's mess it up.
Shit. Yeah.
Hang on.
I'm still looking for that April rip, man. You get that April rip, it's over. It's ogre. And then you're gonna roll back. You take the opportunity to get entries, and then it's ogre for the shorts at that point.
I did it. I've done it, guys. All right.
All right. Look at that.
That's pretty wild.
Like it breaks the range highs. And I remember back then it was literally the same sentiment. We've broken, 12K, and people were looking to long the pullback, and it did not come. It kept ripping up. And I feel the sentiment is very much the same right now. Very much the same. So many people looking to buy the pullback. As we've been discussing yesterday, lots of those bears that have, like, obviously there are people like Capo still waiting for, this to be giant deviation and we go back to 12K. Those are those. But there are lots of those bears that like had the invalidation above 30K that has been met, and now they are looking to buy. Just as in 2020, when we broke in that 12K, lots of people have been looking to buy, but the market did not give any pullbacks, right? It did this structure, and then look at how it broke out higher. It broke out higher and didn't even come back to retest the 14K, right? So I think lots of people are exposed to very much same price action here.
Yeah, people wanted all these inefficiencies filled. Never happened.
And let's not forget that these inefficiencies did not get filled to this day.
Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say though too. That was prior halving, right? After the halving.
Yeah, it was after halving.
Yeah, that was after the halving. Yeah.
Yeah, it the structure looks great. It just, I guess I'm not necessarily a believer of the halving, but I am a believer of the halving. If you get what I mean, time wise, right?
Yeah.
It's all timing for me. You can call it a halving, you can call it a presidential election, you can call it whatever you want to call it. But I think that these things matter as far as like when they line up, the year and all that stuff like that.
Maybe we're sped up a year for some reason. That's kind of the short theory.
It could be.
Yeah.
But here's the thing for me, Tucker. I'd rather be wrong, and I'd be okay with that, than assume when it's never happened before, right? I go with I'm a pattern person, a pattern driven person, and so until the pattern breaks, I can't assume that it's going to. And that's always the thing. Should I always be prepared for if it breaks? Yes. And I do try to prepare for it. But I always take my highest odds play. Your highest odds play is what pattern has played. What pattern makes the most sense as far as the chart. If we're looking at this from a Bitcoin perspective, for me the pattern is 4 years, right? the pattern is the certain breakouts, breakdowns, so on and so forth. And so I have to pay attention to that type of data over everything for me, right? Like I'm a little bit different driven when it comes to patterns. And it worked out really well for me with Tesla too. Like Tesla was one of my golden children, right? Uh, Child that I never had in real life, but child I had in my portfolio. And it did really well because I did a very similar thing. I just paid attention to the pattern and played the pattern. And eventually, after the first split, and then you got the second, you got the third, and it just drive and drive and drive and drive. And now everybody thinks they're going to become billionaires getting a Tesla at $1 trillion, valuation, so on and so forth. Well, yada, yada. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's hilarious how these markets draw people in. But I'm going to continue to play the pattern. I'm just going to play the 4-year pattern until it's not a pattern. And then once it's not a pattern, then I'm just going to play the patterns on the chart, and I don't even care about the 4-year anymore.
Oh no! Look at that. Jack
Yeah,
is right.
that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, I do not expect it to go like as it did from 12K to 69K from here, but I mean, in this regard, it would probably be like 100K. So, like, I'm not expecting it to keep going straight up because back then, we have to keep in mind that back then it was a different environment. We had legit the money printers and everyone was aping. Now it's different, but I do think still that this fractal does make lots of sense. And the fractals, when there is so much confluence and so much same context, they do play out. Not for like the very long term, but for the next move, right? So I think that this fractal still plays out just for the next move, though, and then it will start to diverge, and that's like where the fractals are useful and not useful. If you are expecting the same price to unfold over like the next, I don't know, 10 months, that's not how you use this fractal. But for the next move, I think this does make sense for a breakout higher.
I like to rub against the grain a little bit on the the environment thing, because I think like we always talk about the environment's different, but the environment's always different. It's always different. We've had environments with no stimulus. Guess what? Bull run. We've had environments with stimulus. Guess what? Bull run. It just at the end of the day, for me, like you could say stimulus, no stimulus, pandemic, no pandemic. You could say war, no war, but the patterns always trade the same way. And I don't mean like
Oh yeah,
mimic each other, but you always get a similar type of
yeah,
move, regardless of what's actually going on in the world. And it's crazy that people, if people would just take a few hours out of their day every day, learn charts, they would see exactly what we see on a daily basis. And just people are not willing to put in that effort, man. Like it's so obvious to me as far as data and liquidity. And that's why, like, when people sit there and say, oh, they draw 6 figures on charts and think they're doing something magical. It's like, we're not drawing stick figures on charts. We're looking at data. That's what a chart is. A chart is data. It's price action ranging between two price zones, and it's trying to find interest in one direction or the other.
and also it's psychology. Like price spreads are psychology in the market. It's a psychological visualization, right? That's what price essentially is. So I have to agree with that, and I'll just add that we always look at the price and what it did in history, and we never say like, yeah, during that time everyone was like saying the world is ending. We just look at price in history and we see like perfect price retests, right? And then what actually happened was that there was for example, 2008 recession or something, financial crisis, but what the price has done is that it just retested the levels, the TA levels precisely, and it's so what you essentially want to do is stick to the chart and use the context and confluence of things, right? I would say.
It looks good, man. Looks good right now.
Yeah,
That's like,
I like that channel though, Tucker. That's a good place to be watching that high, right? And paying attention to that high and saying, okay, do we catch a rejection here? Do we get a breakout? And not ignoring a breakout if it does happen. right? You don't ignore it if it does happen. But I think potential retest possibly of the breakout would might happen though. But also paying attention to invalidation, which means if it breaks out and pulls back into that channel, you do not want to see that happen. Because if it breaks out and pulls back into that channel, I would say it's invalidating the move and it's going to come back to a deeper move.
Yeah, well, even if you can't get above just like here, right? Like if you
Yep. The
I
normie
mean,
high. Yep.
oh, man, Tommy.
You talking about the gold fractal? You talking about that gold fractal?
I don't know, man.
Those
I could see a myriad of things playing out here. Like I said yesterday, I think open interest is maybe making me think that we swipe at the high, trade into 39K. And I mean, look, if the break of this resistance is not a vertical candle into 42K and it stalls at 39, then I think that would probably be a pretty good local top spot.
Completely agree. Completely
agree there too.
Yeah.
It needs to start breaking just like it has in that 2020 fractal that you had there previously. So it really needs to go like 42. Then it can bounce to like, pull back to like 40, maybe 39, maybe front run these highs as well. But
they are giving them that. They might come out to 40, 41.
Yeah.
You need a candle like this right here. Yeah.
Yeah. It needs to start breaking. But I think like, once again, guys, zoom out, use the other charts. So what's DXY doing? Look at DXY. It's going to fucking zero, man. That's the zero the bears did not want to see. And that's what's happening.
Man, that's something I don't want to see as a burger. Even
Yeah.
though I know it's never.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus, gold is 2040 right now. Like each time, I feel like in the Big Short, right? Just inverse. Like, do you remember that scene when they were like watching the Bear Stearns price at their phone, and they've been like, "Man, every time I check, it's going lower. Every time there's a lower number. Every time I reload." So I feel like that was gold right now. Every time I open.
Hey, Jackets, you know the craziest thing, man? If people would just turn their brains off and just look at DXY, and anytime DXY hits 110 or higher, just go ahead and start buying assets. It's the easiest trade in the world. Easiest trade in the world, right? Like you don't even have to think. Just 110 or higher, start buying assets, because assets are extremely undervalued if dollars at 110 or higher.
But the dollar milkshake theory, man, I've been told.
Well, I mean, milkshakes are a thing, but they don't work out too well in the Nevada sun. I'll tell you that.
Are you guys seeing this right now? Look at that.
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus!
That's Bitcoin on the right. You probably can't see that.
We got to get that on Twitter, Tucker.
That's
Tucker's
gold on the weekly and Bitcoin on the 4-hour. Wow, we're gonna screenshot that. Yeah.
Yeah, AZTV said people that bash DA are low IQ, and I would agree. I would say that's the same thing for fundamentals, right? Like that's once again what I've been saying earlier today. Both matter a lot, but it's about how you can manage to combine them, how you can manage to create that context, because some people, bearish macro people, will call for a recession, and I think that's a valid point. But the timing is bad, so you can essentially short the very lows of the market if you're just gonna use the fundamentals, or you can buy a strong asset at the wrong time, and it can be in a bear market for the next 5 years or so. So you want to always combine DA and fundamentals. At the same time, if you're just gonna look at DA without understanding stuff, that's also not the best thing to do, in my opinion. So once again, combining, creating context. Context is everything. Timing is everything.
The thing is people had a whole year, like actually longer, to accumulate Bitcoin under 30K, an entire year.
Yeah.
And absolutely refused to touch it, told us how it was going to 5, 10, 12K, so on and so forth. And I'm just like, dude, I'm not seeing it right now. Like the momentum is there to hold price where it's at. It's going to move back up. We reversed. Like once you saw the SPY reverse, how are you going to deny that crypto is going to reverse also? They're both assets that draw liquidity, right? When one
Yeah.
asset starts drawing liquidity, other assets start drawing liquidity. And like, it's not a hard concept. Again, just brain off 110 or higher on DXY and start buying. Like it's not a hard concept when it comes to markets. Is
Well,
there drawdown? Is there sideways? Sure.
it was also as brain dead as like not even looking at the price itself that much, but looking at the time. And we spent, whether it's BTC or ETH, we basically spent 500-day plus bottom ranging on all of these assets, right? So for BTC, it was like, let's say, 18K to 25K, that was 300 days, and then another 200 days, between 30 to 25. So that's 500 days bottom ranging. For Ether, that's, this giant ascending triangle. Just time-wise, guys, that's as much time as the entire price in 21 and 22 on BTC between 30 to 60K. It's literally the same timing. You can pull it out, Tucker, and compare the timings. It's like, that's how long it took. And if you did not see, and we've been saying this, by the way, we've been saying this when we were at like 26K. I mean, we've been saying that way ahead, but at 26K, we kept ranting like, look at where we are in the cycle. Look how long this accumulation is taking. And people are still somehow expecting giant capitulation after all this time. And yeah,
I think the
is what
point is,
happened.
whether or not capitulation eventually occurs, it's just that, they've maintained the same bias while the market was showing them that there was a great amount of opportunity to the long side, right? So even if it does occur or not, right? I mean, we've talked a lot about on this show, wrong on timing is still wrong. It's more about the opportunity cost, in addition to, maybe the short position eventually pays, right? In a vacuum. I mean, look, crypto capo, his BNB short, I guess, is technically up, but you measure it against something
so far.
Bitcoin. You measure it against other assets that you could have held and outperformed it. There's a huge amount of opportunity cost, even if the thesis was, eventually proven right. What did it cost you in the meantime to hold it, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it's the same for equities, right? Let's say that you sort of shorted the bottom on SPX and you're gonna hold. You will have nerves of fucking steel, and you're gonna hold all the way above new all-time highs, possibly. I think we get there. And let's say you're gonna hold it all the way till then. And then it goes and maybe sweeps the 2020 cycle lows, but what have you made? Not much, right? Not much, because if you were shorting at the lows, man, and you would still need those nerves of the steel to really hold it all the way up there. And I think some people actually are, because we had one of the most hedged markets in history on equities. That's a fact.
Bro, I had this drawn. Oh, when I didn't even look at it.
Do not laugh on Tucker's mysterious Tucker-Nachi lines.
That's what I'm saying. I had it. You just connect two. You just find two you like. You connect them. Extend it. Damn, bro.
Look at that. He's fighting an edge.
This is edge, man.
He's fighting an edge.
I can guarantee you we're going to get resistance up right in here. Guaranteed.
It's there.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to see an edge too? I have like, I'm not laughing at your Mysterian slides because I have something similar actually. I don't know if it's called something, but I've observed this in the markets.
Huh.
And actually, I might steal a screen here. One sec, I'll just quickly open it up. It's very much similar. You're gonna like it, and I think there is lots of actual alpha to that. You know, if you're gonna keep expanding your knowledge there, Tucker, you will find, in my opinion, lots of playable value.
Yeah. Let's see it.
Okay. Right. So, oh wait, I haven't shared the screen. Okay. So some of the guys that were, it's shared right now.
Oh, okay. You got it. You got it. There we go.
Yeah.
Let's
And you may laugh at this, but what I found out is that lots of time I was having this chart there, and I was sharing it to few people down here, and you actually find some point of the top right, and then you're gonna start expanding downtrends, and what you find out is that these levels, they tend to get respected a lot, right? And whenever you see like the final capitulation and then sort of the bottom range, that's when you know, and the market keeps breaking it and keeps refusing to go lower, is usually when you get a reversion, right? Right, the downtrends keeps getting less steeper and so on until the trend reverses, and that's what we have seen right here, right? That's why I love, by the way, I love broken downtrends. I think this is a great way to utilize market. So whenever you get something like this, right, then you get a breakout, people get excited, and then you start to get something like this. You make new lows, right, and then you get that reversion. Notice this. This is like the double retest of the trend line, and people will tell you trend lines are useless, and I have to disagree. There's so many times there is some type of confluence like this. Could be even confluent with some support from prior, you know. But yeah, these are very good.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely encourage you, man, to keep grinding upon these because they are very useful.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I drew a bunch on this one. Look at this, man.
Been using rays a lot more with these altcoins. I feel like they play better than the horizontals. That's a little piece of alpha Tucker and I found from this market maker I really like to follow on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Just what I talked about. I forget it's actually on BXY. I just changed charts because I wanted to show the weakness, and it's right here. So this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? It works on all assets. And I think it even worked on BTC though, but yeah, guys, this is my plan for DXY. Here USD, look at that. Look at that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Is it a coincidence? Is it? Right? Is it?
Not at all.
Jesus, man. I didn't know about this one. I just noticed right now. Speaking of it, right? I think there is a actually interesting one on. Let me actually. It's on this one. No. This is pretty interesting, right? So this is SPX measured versus M2 money supply. And look at that, baby. You get a double retest here. You take out the 2007 high, and boom, COVID happens. Then you come back, retest it one more time, and another sell-off. Coincidence? I think not. I think not. So I'm this is, by the way, decent alpha. I'm actually waiting for another touch here. But it's not about looking at one chart as always. What I'm doing is looking at the confluences, right? So I think there is still upside for this chart. And the longer, like if we go there straight, let's say, then I would expect this, then bigger sell-off. But the longer we spend down here, the higher this is going to extend. And the higher this is going to go, in my opinion.
Oh,
Yep.
sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. No, yeah, I see it. I see it for sure. Seeing some soul strength right now, a little bit. Kind of out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, it's the correlation to Bitcoin, Tuck.
It's been weak though. It's been real weak recently, even against Bitcoin. Yeah, even against Bitcoin.
You can steal the chart back if you want.
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to show those trend lines and how
This
they
is
are.
where this is where I wanted to bid still Bitcoin, but we might be. It kind of looks like ETH BTC, I think, but let's see Sol ETH. Yeah, see, that's what I was looking for. I don't know if we're gonna get it. Oops. Yeah, we can still do that, but what does ETH BTC look like? Does it look similar? Yeah, it looks worse.
I think it's going to take the local low, as we discussed during the call.
What, down here?
No, the one on the right, slightly on the right on H4.
This guy?
Yeah, this one. It's a pretty solid one, and I love what I just talked about, right? With those lines. So if you're gonna extend a downtrend line from the pump high,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know which one, right? Yeah. No, to the underneath that.
Huh? Oh, just
Lower. You make it precise. Make it precise, and you will see. Yeah.
Like that.
Lower, slightly lower. Yeah, like that. And I think we are still waiting for that touch. That's why the ETH-BTC pair is still waiting here, going sideways for a little longer. And it's waiting for the right time when it goes down there. It sweeps the low. It touches the support of the broken downtrend and then moves. And
we just get one of those. Yeah.
That would be what I think could happen here.
Yeah. I like that scenario. Oh man.
Oh baby.
Oh baby.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Where's the pump it up song when we need it, man?
They're not gonna trap me. They're not gonna trap me with their bearish propaganda.
What are we at on likes, Jackus? What are we at on likes?
Oh, you tell me.
Maybe we will. Let me take a look, boys.
Maybe we will have to pump those numbers up, man.
Yeah, I think we might.
We're at 46 likes.
Oh, man.
Guys.
Are we watching?
Guys. Disappointed. We are pumping. on the price and not pumping on the likes, guys. We just shared some great alpha right here, and the likes are not representing that, right? What I've been sharing today is that the world is currently going very populistic, right? And on social media, people are liking stuff that is just a confirmation bias. They just copy pasta with moon targets. What we are giving you here, guys, is lots of alpha knowledge that you can use yourself. You know, that's
Jackus, they're gonna have to watch the soybean chart on the 1 second until we get to what 60, 70
I love that.
The soybean chart.
on the one
What's the ticker for that, Tucker?
soybeans. I don't know.
I love that.
Soybeans.
Guys, until we pump to 60 likes, we will have to watch the soybean chart on 1 second chart.
Yes.
Let's do that. No more is needed. If you don't want it the easy way, we make it the hard way.
Soybean torture.
No soiling allowed in this, not just on stream, but also in the comment section, bros.
After we hit 60 likes, I want you to go on the daily chart of ease. After.
All right, let me pull up YouTube so let me mute.
Yeah, the USDT dominance doing a nice rejection just as well.
Still at 51. USDT dominance rejecting.
Yeah, but
I wish we could add it. Yeah.
I wish we could change the chart, but we have to stay on soybeans, man, for now.
People are gonna start the dislike button, man.
We have to stay on the soybean chart as long as the likes are soy.
Is there any signal in the soybean chart?
That looks like a decent triangle and lots of liquidity above those highs, man.
Yeah. Should we draw some lines on the soybean chart?
Let's do that.
On the 1 second. Yeah.
Guys, do we hit 39,000 today or do we reject on BTC?
Guys, we're 68 people watching and 52 likes. We need to change that. We need to bump those numbers up.
I could see a wick to 39 today. I really do maintain, I think the most bullish scenario, I mean, it's literally self-explanatory, but also like, I really want to see if this is vertical accumulation, then I think the God candle should come within like probably 24 to 48 hours. If we're still chopping at 39K in a few days, I would consider that to be bearish personally.
Yeah.
I really want to look at the chart, man. I really want to look at the chart.
Look at those lines, though. Like, that's 1 second chart. Look at those lines, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Soybeans respect.
I'm actually seeing one more line there. If you go on the very left side of the chart and extend it to the right, from the low around 937.
Here?
Right? No, the one on the right from it. Yeah, and you extend it to the right.
That one?
Oh yeah.
Let me get it. Extend it right. Yeah.
Very good.
Oh,
And
We just lost flush liquidity.
And then you can extend the one from the highs on the left to the right.
These
Yeah.
like that.
Lower. Connect the highs. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we better bounce here. This is your all-in long, guys. Are you guys getting long right here? There you go.
Max leverage,
There's your
guys.
4.5 R. All right, this is painful. What are we at? 52 still?
We need 60, guys. We need those bumpers up.
Guys. Oh, come on. I mean, we just gave you some soybean alpha right here. So
We gave you some soy alpha.
they're gonna stop us out.
Man, when they gonna send Gallo?
It's over.
Oh, we're so back. Oh, it's over.
Dude, scalping the soybean 1 second chart. That is peak degeneracy, Tucker. I'm proud of you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Are they coming?
Where do we trade soybeans though?
No, man.
Good question.
We needed an exchange. We need crypto contracts for soybeans.
We need Binance perps. Or no, we need FTX perps on soybeans so that we can send them to zero.
People are like, everybody likes the video. This is terrible. All right, should we capitulate, guys? This is terrible.
How many did we end up with?
We're at 52 still.
Oh, that's sad.
It's okay.
All right.
But we're expecting more from you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Jackus wanted the ETH daily. We'll capitulate. You guys win this time. All right.
I will pump them up tomorrow, like guys, with some alpha, right? We will milk that.
All right, back to the alpha. Jackus, what's up?
Well, go on 1 second BTC chart. That's the alpha.
Oh no, it's over. Oh, we're back. We're so back. I want to see what the pump looked like.
There must be some heavy. Oh shit! It's over.
Oh shit! Yeah.
There must be some heavy sell order at 38,200 or like 38,196 on a Binance chart. The price is pressing that on 1 minute chart a lot.
Like I said, there are a lot of asks here. I kind of think we're gonna take the yearly high today, or if not today, then maybe early on tomorrow's daily candle. But like I said, if 38.5, 39 caps price this week, that's a bearish signal to me.
Yeah, I agree. Especially if the range is reclaimed right after. Like if we break above, if we're gonna go on H12 actually on actually let me share the screen here.
Yeah.
So if we as Tommy is saying, right, if we gonna like, where is the motherfucker? If we're gonna go, oh shit, I'm unlocked. 1 sec. Okay, so if we going to go to 39, as Tommy is saying, and then drop back, that's really bearish, and we would go and sweep all these lows. So what really needs to happen here after all this accumulation happened and this range is that we go to like 41 straight, then we can pull back, right? But we cannot go to 39 and roll over back in to the range. I think this could be a dead cat bounce though. If it happens, we really should be expanding higher, and we should be doing that straight from here. Like what we need is basically this on H1. We need this basically, right? Price keeps grinding higher until full break. So I think we could have something like that, possibly. Who knows how exactly, but yeah. Actually, look at it. What did I talk about today, right? What did I talk about today? Look at that. So yeah, and then I still like when I'm looking at this chart, right? So where are we stopping right here? What is the context? And by the way, are we at 60 likes? Are we at 60 likes, guys? No.
Let me see. Let's see. We are at 55. We've got symmetry going.
Okay. 55, that's a sign. 55, man. But guys, let's pump it to at least 60, man. Like, come on, guys. And then I will keep talking about the alpha. Like, we will not watch the soybean chart, yeah, but let's at least get to 60 before I share some juicy stuff here. Hit the fucking like button, champ.
Look, Jackus, we can always save it for tomorrow, man.
We can always save it for tomorrow. That's true, man. Like, it's up to you guys. Do you want it or not?
I say we give them 30 more seconds to hit the like button, and if we can't get to above 60, then we'll have to save it for tomorrow, guys.
Show the comment of Champ. Hit the fucking like button. Smash it.
Hit the damn button.
Smash.
Oh man.
What's going on here?
Hey man, you can come find me this winter. You can come ski with me. Should be fun.
Oh yeah, boys. Rune Ripper.
Is Rune ripping? I saw Sim was about to short it.
Yeah, well, he got blown out, brother.
Did he?
I mean,
what's that? Oh no, not yet. He hasn't gotten filled.
What's he
about to though?
He's
about to be in his asks, man.
No, please.
What an insane coin, though.
I know.
I can't believe my alt is not running, man.
It's gonna start to run once you sell.
I know. I'm respecting the setup. I'm not gonna dump it yet. But
yeah, it's annoying, right?
Disappointed. I could have just stuck to my baby in long soul again, like I usually do. Did we get there? If we didn't get there, guys, we're going to have to wait till tomorrow. I gave you more than 30 seconds. We are at 57 likes. Jackus, I'll leave it up to you. We have been going for about an hour and 45 here.
Yeah, that's valid point. But, guys are trying, so I'll give them a few more minutes if they can hit the 60 like button. Dusty's saying 62. I don't know if we already hit that and we are just waiting for the UI to show that, but I think this is pretty interesting, right? So everyone's talking about the ETH weakness, and people do not understand that these two just follow each other. Like right here, when we broken above new all-time highs, right? Look where BTC was trading already at 40K. while Ether was still sort of holding 4,000, right? We had lots of ETH BTC strengths all the way up here. Then obviously, there was the follow-up on the downside as well. But I'm just saying, and look at this one. Here we had BTC weakness where ETH didn't make new lows. That was lots of ETH BTC strengths and ETH strengths. Right now we are seeing the weakness on ETH, and that's very true. Like we've seen during the sell-off, right? Because it's as simple as this: minus 82%, BTC went minus 77%. But let's look at the upside. Okay, 140%, 150%, right? And these needs to be different. So right here, we are seeing that BTC is trading at this level of February 2022, and ETH is not there yet. ETH is not there yet. Although it was stronger here in April, right? It came back and retested already this high while BTC was not there yet. Basically retested. So it's sort of a catch-up game here, right? And I think it's a no-brainer, really. Are we at 60 likes?
I think so. Yes, we are. We are indeed.
All right. Let's share. I've already shared some of this. What I wanted to discuss was actually, oh yeah, I want to talk about BTC and how there really isn't much resistance to me around these levels. If you look at this, like, I understand that people will use this as a sort of resistance, and I'm not using this one because that's not where the selling started. That's where buying started. Where there is actual resistance to me is right here, right up there. That's where lots of selling has taken place, right? Around this area, we see that. And we had a deviation. So around this area is, in my opinion, strong resistance. This one is basically just this was a inefficiency fill. And it's always good to use for price to stop for a while. But then, the price continues higher. And I think we are seeing that right now. There was also some selling, some selling took place right here. This is a decent amount of selling right here. But I think what could happen here is basically what we discussed, right? That needs to happen. We go to like 41, 42. Look how nicely that lines up with these levels. Then we can pull back, and then we need to continue higher. So I think this does make sense to me, right?
Yep.
This does make sense to me.
All right, you want to save some for tomorrow, Jackus?
I might.
Yeah. Tommy?
Yeah, no, I'm ready to wrap things up. Might take some pre-workout, go to the gym here fairly soon, boys.
Last thing, quickly, since the boys pumped it and girls pumped it to 60 to 60 likes.
The ladies of Because Bitcoin.
The ladies. Do we have ladies? Let us know in the chat if there are any ladies.
No way, bro.
That's a very dangerous question to be asking this chat.
Suddenly all the guys. Me. I keep on saying that this is the major invalidation and major FOMO level for all the bears. Below this level, they will keep saying that, this was the breakdown point, and this is a bearish retest of like this structure. And from here, we do this, right? Above here, this is where all the bears are proven wrong. I think even Capo capitulates. Capitulation happens here. And this is where they start buying RBACs. And then I think the pullback happens. But this move also breaks the structure of this move down. So anything is a higher low here, right? Especially when this is going to be the move if we keep pressing higher. So anything in here is a higher low. Whether it happens like this, right? This is what people don't understand. If this happens, people would be saying, hey, bearish market structure. And then that's what usually happens. And then right here, you retest the higher time frame range lows, you retest possibly this support, right? I could see this happening. They'll be saying like falling wedge, and then, oh, look at this breakdown, of the falling wedge. It's over. You retest, you basically do this, right? You get the golden zone, and then it moves higher. I'm not saying it's going to be exactly like that, but this is how the charts used to paint. So yeah, let's hope tomorrow, guys, when we have the YouTube market check, we are at 40K. If not, it's your fault because you didn't pump the like button enough.
Wow, man. Did you guys see this? Wow, man. We have lots of people.
I'm Grill. Love it, man. I love the chat. I love the guys.
Yeah, I love the chat. I love reading the chat while you guys cook.
Me too. I do that as well sometimes.
We can go ahead and wrap things up though, guys. We have
been
running.
Wait! We didn't see your cat, Tommy.
Oh, he's sleeping now. I'll send a Discord exclusive. How about that?
Okay.
So join our Discord, guys. This is the perfect opportunity for me to plug that here at the end of the show. You do get cat pics of my cat. He's absolutely adorable for free. In addition to premium services that are incredibly helpful and useful, for the community within this market, right? Our daily live calls, constantly posting charts, content, market commentary as the day goes on. You get a very intimate and exclusive look at exactly how we're trading these markets and even the positions that we're taking. Like Max says, it's not a signal group. That's not the intention, but we do try to be as transparent as possible, since that's kind of a rarity in this business. And it's something that we very much pride ourselves on. Yes. And like Max said, 30% off for Tommy's Cats picks. You guys will get, his name is Butters. He really is just so cute. I'll try to get him on stream if you haven't. He's been on stream a few times, but I'll post a picture in the Discord here in about a minute. But like I said, guys, we have been going for about 2 hours. We really appreciate y'all's support. We hope you enjoyed the show. Happy Tuesday, guys. Thank you for smashing that like button. If you're new to the channel and enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow. Make sure to tune in for our Market Talk spaces in the afternoon with King Wabi. That is typically at 4:15 to 4:30 Eastern time, depending on how long our afternoon call with our Giga Chads go. But yeah, I don't know how Max does that every day. It's a mouthful, but we missed you today, Max. Get you back tomorrow. Had a great show today. And yeah, hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks again.
Oh, I got it. Don't worry. Here we go. Here we go.